All right, so now we are going to be working on the animation, the featured animation. So if I reload the application, we get that transition effect, we're going to do that. And of course, we're going to use the library for this. But first, I have it, I have it right here. But first, we need to do something. So everything, it's happening at home, the route home. And so far, we don't really have a route. We have just a file that, outputs a layout and just a text. So what we need to do first is to create that home route and to add the routes right here. Okay, so first I'm going to delete the one that says second line, and I'm going to bring something from React Router DOM. So I'm going to go right here at the top, and I'm going to import, open and close, and first I'm going to bring switch, and then I'm going to bring route. Later we're going to be changing this when we bring authentication to our project. But for now, it's cool. So from React Router DOM, React Router DOM, and now inside of the layout, we're going to use that switch, and inside of the switch, we will put all our routes. So switch, open and close, and right here we will put our route. So far we don't have a route. We just have the header and the footer and nothing else. So I'm going to go to components. I'm going to create a new directory called home, and inside home, we will put, what we're going to be using. In this case, at home, we have several sections. We have the featured, we have the matches, then meet the players, and win a jersey. So it kind of makes sense that inside of home, we can have, several folders or directory with different things. So the first one is going to be featured. So I'm going to create a new directory and say featured, right? So inside featured, again, we have maybe several things. So we will create an index that will host the different files. And when the animation starts, we have two pieces of animations, the stripes in the background, and then the text and the player. So I'm gonna first create an index.js so we can pass this one to the routes. And then inside of here, we're gonna have two different files, one for the stripes. So this one is gonna be called stripes.js, and the other one is going to be called text because we're going to host the text. Again, you can choose whatever name you want. So inside of the index, this one will just output the stripes and the text. So we can skip the class-based component and make a React stateless component. All right, and this one I'm going to call it featured. I always do that with the sliders at the top. I call them featured. That comes from WordPress back in the day. So right here, for now, we are not going to import anything. So the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to return a div with a class name of featured and then wrapper. And inside of here, I don't know, some text for now. All right. So now this one is the main view for this featured. And it's inside home. But the thing is that we don't have a home. We have a feature, but we don't have a home. So now what we need to do, we need to create a file inside home, which is going to be the index. So I'm going to say index.js, and this one is going to be the route home. So again, React stateless component, and this one will be called home. I'm going to copy home and paste home. And the only thing we're going to be returning, it's a class name. And I'm going to give it a background VCK of blue. We're going to get this blue background. All right. Now inside of here, we need to output the featured container. So import featured from open and close that / featured. And of course, I will make a reference right here. All right. Of course, if I go to our project and I reload the page, nothing really happens because we have everything right here. But inside of routes, we are not making a reference to this home container. So I'm going to go right here at the top, import home from that / components / home. All right. So I'm going to copy. And now what we need to do, we need to pass a route. We need to define a route for home. So with React Router, we're going to use this route we've imported at the top. So I'm going to say route and make it a self-closing tag. Since we can have many routes, I'm going to put exact and then I'm gonna put render. So inside of the render, component. We could use render in this case, but component it's actually more accurate. So inside component, we will put which component we want to render at home. So in this case, it's just home. And then of course the path where we're going to be using this route. So it's / because it's home. And now the application loads and we have that that blue background. So at least this works. Okay. So again, I have a lot of things open. I'm going to close everything. I'm going to open routes again and the index of home. Remember, we are giving a back of blue. All right. So now we need to create the animations and we will start with stripes. So I'm going to go to stripes and we're going to use for the stripes a library for animations. Let me show you the library first. So it calls React Move, and of course we've installed this React Move. Now React Move, to use some easing, to use the easings library, it uses something else called D3Ease. So we've already installed this. Everything is on the documentation, of course. So this one calls React Move, and we can create, kind of enhanced animations. So again, if you check the documentation, maybe it's not that good. It's clear, but it's a little bit confusing. But when you get the basics, you pretty much understand everything else. So we're gonna do something very basic right now. And then of course, we're gonna do something with node group, which because it's a little bit more confusing. So let me show you an example in React Move. So right here, let me show you the link. Go to live examples, code and docs. If you go here, you're gonna get different options, documentation, more examples. And inside documentation, you have two types of animations. You have animate and node group. With animate, we can do animations kind of something like that. Or for example, something like this. They look really, really cool. So with animate, we can update, we can animate single divs or single elements. Let me show you this example. So what they do, actually, we just import animate and D3Ease with the name of the easing. And what we do, we just render an element, we have it right here, with the tag animate. And of course, in this case, it's creating several elements. And so it's looping and just returning several animated, tags. Now we will have a key, of course. So what we need to do, we need to set up a start and an update. In this case, we are using update, but we could use just start or enter. So inside the start, we will put all the starting properties of that div, maybe the scale, the color, or the rotation, doesn't matter. So then when the component updates, we will get the new values. And right here inside of a function, we just return the div we want to animate with all the properties we want to change. And this, of course, whenever they change here, they will change here and they will change on the actual element. So this is the main idea. This is how it works in a nutshell. So you can animate single elements or you can animate groups. In this case, a node group would be kind of an array or maybe an object with different things inside. So it kind of works like this. When it updates, the component updates, it shows the animations. All right, so we're going to use it. Again, this is a little bit confusing. And for example, right here, we have a start, which is the starting point. Enter whenever the element it's entering. Then when it updates, we change the properties, and when it leaves. So it's kind of the React animations, the featured React animations, but a little bit different. And this works really good. So we're going to do it right now. So I'm going to go back to our project and I'm going to close this. And right here, we are calling it featured inside of home, and home, let's go to index of featured. So we are just returning some text. Of course, we need to do much more. First, we're going to do the stripes. So I'm going to call a component called stripes. We don't have this component. We need to create it. So I'm going to go right here, import stripes from dot / and I'm going to call it stripes, just like that. Okay. So this is stripes. Of course, it's not doing anything. We don't have anything right here. We can add it. So we're going to create a class-based component. So React class-based component. And of course, it's going to be called stripes. We need to import the easings and React Move. So import, open and close. And for the easings, you have many types of easings. I'm going to show you in a minute on the documentation. But for this one, we're going to use ease, just like this, then poly, and then out. And then from D3 ease. Very good. Then import, animate, just like this, from React. Let me find it. React. Okay, animate. Oh, sorry, move. And then / and we need to pass animate. So this is the way it works. Okay, so at the bottom on the container, we're gonna return just a div with a class name. Class name, well, it's not auto-completing, with a class name of featured, just like this, and stripes. That gonna make sense. And inside of here, we just return a function that will loop the state of something and return 3 different stripes. So I'm going to call it show stripes, open and close, nothing else, show stripes. And let me fix it, show stripes. Of course, we don't have this function. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go to show stripes. I'm going to create that function. And this function, the only thing it does for now, it just returns some JSX. So I'm going to put just a div and say stripes. Maybe we are not going to be able to see it, but we can get it right here, stripes. So at least we are returning something. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next section and continue with the stripes and, finish, maybe finish the animation part.